Well, this is the International Full Soap Timeline live hangout. Right, we appear to have a couple of visitors. Hi, welcome to the International Full Soap Timeline. This is a live hangout. I've called it open house, so anyone wants to ask me any questions, pop it into the chat. I've been adding stuff to the timeline as best I can, but I've got a lot of other things on the go at the moment. As some of you may know, some of you know about me, Goodman died on February 15th. I've been editing, I'm re-indexing his magnum opus, which I will hopefully shortly be publishing, if only as a PDF. I've got other things going, plus my health has really deteriorated. I'm sleeping so much of late. I've seen any way forward, but I'll keep going as long as I can. I haven't done a live hangout for quite some time, but I don't know, at some point I may use StreamYard and have interactions with people. I do participate in other live streams unrelated to false rape allegations. Largely Acnation, who's an amazing dude. A few comments about my setup, as it were. I've recently, last month, I got 1 million views on my channel. I mean, it started something like 2008, 2009, this channel, and it's really, I used to get a few hundred or even a few thousand views on a video, but I'm being shadow banned to death. I've got 284 videos at the moment, excluding this one. Some have been deleted. We did that purge, and this is how ridiculous it is. 2 videos of, three videos make up over 1 million views, and the rest hardly any. My tribute to Lemmy Kilmister has got 203,000 at the moment. My tribute to Rick Parfitt has got 65,000. And this is the most interesting one. There's a clip. Advice to rad femmes how to avoid being raped with knife point, which it's a minute and a half of a horror film. A woman that's just a latter-day Elizabeth Bathory. She's walking through a city centre. The guy attacks her, rapes her, knife point. She picks up a knife and stabs him, which I thought was quite funny. And in 8 years, it ran up about 8,000 views, 9,000 views. Over the past year or so, it's jumped to 324,000. And all my other videos have been ludicrous, including, it's just absurd. I don't know what's going on with these algorithms. Anyway, this will be not just a live hangout, be a potpourri of things, not in no particular order. I'll deal with some topical stuff first. One thing I noticed is that I've just noticed that Harvey Weinstein is back in court, or was back in court. As you may know, he's been convicted of raping New York and New York State and California. And it's absolutely ridiculous. There's a report here from America Online, AOL. Harvey Weinstein defense in Los Angeles rape trial arrests after presenting 6 witnesses. Harvey Weinstein's defense team has rested its case and closed the arguments will begin still going on later Wednesday at Los Angeles rape trial of the former movie magnate. Weinstein's lawyers called 6 witnesses as they sought to cast doubt on the accounts of the women who accused Weinstein of raping or sexually assaulting them. Defense witnesses include including a firefighter and a former security guard, who testified a false alarm went off at a Los Angeles hotel around the time an Italian model and actor, I presume that's actress, allegedly Weinstein raped her in a room in February of 2013. I mean, yeah, these are. I don't believe that. I don't believe any of these women. Weinstein was a big name in film. You know, he was one of the biggest. And as far as there were these relationships, they were transactional. There's not one contemporaneous report, not one, to the police, or no medical things, nothing. In fact, the best evidence against Weinstein indicates he's a man who has boundaries. He tried to lure some Italian actress, model, whatever her name was. Excuse me, Audie. To his room, to his hotel room. I think it was in New York, and she reported him, and I think it was the FBI rather than the police, but they wired her up anyway and sent her back to him, and she said, "Oh, you touched my breast," and he apologised. And he was very nasty, but outside his room, but he didn't drag her in his room. He said basically, not in so many words, but drop your knickers for me and everything will be fine. If not, I will make sure you never get any parts. Obviously an odious character, but I don't believe he had any. I don't believe he raped anyone. And that idiot was it Barbara Ziv testified. I think a PowerPoint. She didn't use the phrase rape trauma syndrome, but it's the same. It's garbage about trauma and why survivors don't disclose at once and why they're free. I just froze. There's another one. I don't believe any of that garbage. But it looks like Harvey's behind bars for the rest of his life. For his sins. Oh dear. Interestingly, on a similar theme, during the Bill Cosby witch hunt, there was a guy, Jay Raskin, who was an academic, did a lot of work exposing these liars. And I published an article on the website isn't defunct, Wikinut, but it showed the guys who run it shut it down, and it's under new management now. But this is an article, The Truth About the Rape Crisis Network, on my main website, which I explained how this garbage works. How these women who run these places encourage false allegations. And Raskin posted a very incisive comment. This is February 3rd, 2018. I haven't dug out the case law yet, but in the early 90s, in the early 1990s in Pennsylvania, people could call rape crisis centre volunteers and workers as witnesses and have them tell under oath what the accuser originally told them and what they advised. And what they advised the accuser, well, people, I presume it means women. This resulted in juries and judges immediately realising that the rape centre volunteers had encouraged the women to change their stories and make false rape charges. The head of a coalition of rape centres, rape crisis centres, obviously, demanded that this practice be stopped because it made women afraid to go to rape centres for counselling. Oh dear. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court declared that because of the rape epidemic, they were suspending the rights of defendants to call rape centre workers to be called as witnesses. This has since become the norm in all states in the United States. Before this, only lawyers and priests were exempt from testimony under oath in such cases. Lawyers and priests undergo years of specialised training in counselling and helping people. Most rape centre workers have a few weeks of training. I wonder if rape centre workers in Great Britain and other places also have the right to keep the information from accusers secret, as well as the advice they give them. Yeah. What I think if I remember what prompted this article was that it was Rape Crisis Scotland in particular, where women could go to a rape crisis centre, they could give forensic samples, etc., but presumably witness statements as well, and they could decide. They could wait up to a year, before deciding whether to go ahead, and that gives them time to get their stories straight, basically, to in their tiny minds to what's the word before? Oh God, embellish. Yeah, I'm really getting bad. And we've actually got a lot of proof of this on the timeline. The witch hunt of John Leslie, who isn't rape, but it's very interesting. There's two articles in particular about him on there. There was a woman who she and her friend went back to his hotel room. I think it was in Birmingham, and she sold her story to the press. And a few years later, after all these allegations came out, she sold a story again. It was entirely different. So, and there's other things where alcohol is concerned. Of course, it's very dubious. Also in the news, Prince Andrew is in the news again for all the wrong reasons. Apparently, more accusers have come forward. In the UK, they love that phrase. They love that phrase, come forward. So he's got a lot on his plate. And I've just been rewatching some stuff relating to the Epstein case. A woman named Elizabeth Stein. It's rather amusing, actually. Where is it? Here we are. I thought I'd just found this video, but apparently I commented on it 2 months ago. Stein was she claimed to be a survivor, but she was over the age of consent when she met. I think she was over the age of consent when she met Epstein. She was a student or something. And I put, let me translate this into English. She was a young, attractive adult woman when she met Jeffrey Epstein, who paid her to have sex all over the United States. She was well remunerated, and now when her source of income dried up, she's withdrawing her consent retroactively and looking for a payout. How does that sound? I think that sounds par for the course. And then this interview with her ex-Law and Crime Network, it's on YouTube at January 13th. And I take all these allegations at face value. It's about the unsealing of a lawsuit between the odious Mrs. Guthrie and Ghislaine Maxwell. Well, nothing Guthrie says can be taken at face value. She is a self-confessed child sex trafficker. Self-confessed child sex trafficker. And a proven liar. She lied about Alan Dershowitz. He said he wanted to see her. He said she was committing perjury. He wanted to see her in prison. Then she decided she might have been confused. She made a mistake. As though you can mistake Alan Dershowitz or anyone else, and or anyone else for Alan Dershowitz. And she withdrew, and he's been extremely magnanimous. But what it was in the civil suit, there would have been disclosure, and she couldn't get past disclosure. Or discovery, as they call it in America. It used to be called discovery here, so it's called disclosure now. So nothing she says can be nothing she says can be credited, and yet the media give her and all these other accusers, they never look into what they say. They never ask any hard questions. Yeah. So this is a woman who admitted recruiting girls for Epstein, and she went to Thailand he sent her to Thailand on a massage course to bring a Thai girl back with her, probably a Thai girl, and she met her husband out there and got married after a whirlwind romance, and she became a housewife, and then years later when the FBI came knocking on her door, she decided to make some money off it, and she obviously had wealthy backers. It's just the whole business is disgusting, and she's a disgusting human being. So that's that. Some other interesting stuff here. There's where are we? If you hear a beeping in the background, it's my smoke alarm rather than a couple of alarms. It's a heat alarm and a smoke alarm. I think whatever it is, it's annoying. I can't do anything about it, I'm afraid. But I found something interesting here. But if I can find it again, it says, well, oh yes, Stef The Alter Nerd. This is really weird. This is a video she made a couple of years ago. I found it the other night. She's based in the north of England. She sounds like she's from Lancashire, and well, I think she's from Lancashire, but north of England anyway. She does a lot of work with Andy Signor, who was actually a victim of Me Too. In one of her videos, she talks about claims she was raped when she was 8 years old, repeatedly. Raped and orally raped as well. Now, 8 years old is too. That's too old to be. You know, I mean, as I've said before, a lot of these cases of women who claim to have been sexually abused when they become, well, in their teens or when they're older, sometimes much older, when they claim to be sexually abused. This is childhood amnesia coupled with confabulation. Very often they'll watch a soap opera with a rape or child sexual abuse storyline, and then they get triggered and they phone rape crisis centres, and the women who run these centres are either too stupid or too venal to tell them the truth, and this can result in terrible miscarriages of justice. I don't know, I mean, it's a limited number of people who could have done it. Oh, hi Didymus. Nice, somebody else is here. There were a couple of people here earlier, but they've gone. Yeah, I mean, do people get, I mean, Tim Pool gets tens of thousands of viewers regularly, and others get thousands or even hundreds. I'd be happy for a couple of dozen people to attend my live hangouts. The Full Soap Timeline is actually doing well. It's had over the homepage has had over 14,000 views since I put the counter on. I think it's been online nearly 8 years now. Because I don't think the counter's been on that long, but it's had, well, there's two counters on it, but the homepage has had 14,000 views. I get lots of referrals from other websites as well. Direct links to other pages, so it's doing very well, and other people send me stuff, etc. So, but this is the shadow banning. That's something else I forgot to mention. The shadow banning, it's just it's absolutely ludicrous. Ludicrous. I mean, I should be getting a few hundred views at least for videos on this channel. I need to extend it now to to BitChute. I had 118 subscribers on BitChute for a long time. Now I've lost 2 of them. Since I've joined Twitter, I've now got 9 followers on Twitter, or X, what it's called. But to come back to Stef The Alter Nerd, she says that when she was 8 years old, this happened, and I know she was very emotional about it. I just can't believe her. To rape an 8-year-old child is absolutely. I'm on I upload stuff to Rumble, but I haven't tried simulcasting. I've only got about 34 followers on there. What was I just can't credit her. And the number of reasons. One is that this is on the timeline. This is the case of Alicia Wade. This is an 8-year-old girl who was raped. This was absolutely incredible. This story. What happened was she was an 8-year-old girl in living with her parents in San Diego. He worked for the military, and she comes down to breakfast one night, and she's got pain down there. And her parents take her to the hospital, and she'd been raped. And the father immediately fell under suspicion. He rapes his daughter, takes her to the hospital. No. And what actually happened was a bloke, a convicted sex offender, climbed in through a window. I think he said he was her Uncle Ray or something. And I think he took her out. It's a page on the timeline. I'll put a link to it. He rapes her, and they got it into their heads that it was the father, even though eventually physical evidence was found. I think it was sperm. And when it came to prove the case, he was already in prison for something else. He was doing a 16-year sentence. It was a 60-year sentence for raping an 8-year-old. And the authorities, they did everything they tried to adopt his kid away. It's absolutely outrageous. But I say, for an 8-year-old girl, I just can't grow. And I've got a personal reason for not believing this as well, which I won't mention it here, but it's a case on the timeline. July 26, 2016, if you want. July 26, 2006, if you want to look it up. But I'm not going to discuss it here. So anyway, I just can't believe that this. It's too old for childhood amnesia. Childhood amnesia up to about 3 or 4. One of the reasons I realised this was because of my own experience, not related to sex. When I was very young, 2 or 3, I had an injection from the doctor. I've put this in my hangout. But I think it's We Believe the Children. Again, I'll put a link to it. But I had an injection. I used a fountain pen to write a prescription. I got into my head that I'd been injected with a fountain pen. I thought this all through my teens. That's how I had the word confabulation in my early 20s, well, in my 20s, and I realised then, and a lot of fuzzy memories are like this, and but Stef, I just can't believe it. Anyway, she said she went to the police years in her teens. I just can't, it's so high risk. At least, when this happens, it's usually a girl who's snatched off the street and violated. But very often it's boys, these monsters. A lot of them are homosexuals. But I just can't, not an older kid, but 8 years old. Even with the grooming gang scandal, which the police, I can't imagine that they would not have investigated a case of an 8-year-old. And I just can't see something like that happening and being kept secret. Anyway, that's Stef The Alter Nerd. I've got some other stuff here somewhere. There's a couple of recent cases which I was looking at. Let me go into my file. Oh yeah, P. Diddy. Now, this guy's in the ways of Sean Combs, what his name was, multiple names. This is very interesting because a couple of years ago, some woman accused Chris Brown of raping her on P. Diddy's yacht. She said it happened in 2020. And that allegation was proved to be false, not simply retracted, but proven to be false. I'm just wondering if this this whole P. Diddy thing is all garbage. I mean, they use the phrase trafficking, very emotive, isn't it? But if the girls involved were all over 18, I don't see any problem. You could, they call it trafficking, but trafficking is one of the four narratives of prostitution. Yeah, I quite agree with you. Coombs is a very weird character. I mean, people who have, well, people in the music business, a lot of them tend to be eccentric, and actors and actresses, they tend to be eccentric anyway. But when people become very wealthy, especially if they weren't born into wealth, they do all sorts of things which perhaps they wouldn't have done normally, you know. Mostly they're not sinister or even sexually related. I mean, they might collect things or do things, or, you know, I mean, if you've got money, you can do all sorts of things you can't do when you haven't got money, and money with a capital M. But there are the four narratives of prostitution. I'll put a link to my article about that. There's the traditional narrative, which is the fallen woman, which is the biblical harlot or the Victorian unfortunate. Then there is feminist, second wave feminism in the 70s came along. They claim that prostitution was rape. And some of the idiots even equate pornography with rape, because pornography is a massive subject. Then the sex industry fought back with sex work is real work, or simply sex work is work. And yeah, he might be a genuine bisexual. You know, take it with a pinch of salt, or maybe a boulder. I don't really have the stuff about that. Then to counter that, the feminist, third wave feminism, with a little help from the Christian right, the moral majority, whatever, came up with trafficking, sex trafficking. So if a man pulls up in the red light district, a prostitute they have a conversation through his car window. She gets into the car, he drives around the corner, she performs a sex act on him. She's been trafficked. It's a very emotive term, but it's what it is that in the United States, prostitution is illegal. In Britain, it's legal with caveats. Curb crawling is what the Americans would call a misdemeanor. If two women work together under the same roof for protection, as it were, they can be accused of running a brothel. But soliciting, generally speaking, prostitution is legal in Britain. There's lots of grey areas, but as long as it's and of course, I'm not that cynical. If a guy's got a lot of money and he's maybe reasonably good looking, and he wants to wants to hang around with attractive young women. Well, why should they hang around with a guy unless if he's especially if he's older, let's say not so good looking, you know, these are transactional. You know, she gets to eat in good restaurants or maybe whisked away for holidays. He gets to have a gorgeous girl he's on. I don't consider this prostitution. I'm not cynical. I'm cynical. I'm not that cynical. So the Diddy case is very strange, and there's also a case of I think it's some American sportsman who's been accused of rape. He was a college senior. He was suspended by the college or something. He sued them, and he's back at college, but he's waiting to see the press charges. If the authorities press charges, he's meant to have raped in a club. I mean, basically, I think it's digital penetration, which could count as rape. He's meant to put his hand up her dress or something, which is really weird. But I say there's a lot of stuff in the news there. Well, I'm glad you turned up, but this has been very disappointing. So I think I'll how long we got? How long have we done so far? Not long, is it? So they've been 34 minutes. Yeah, I think I mean, I don't see the point in doing a live stream unless I'm going to get a reasonable turnout. I've advertised this. I made obviously saw the video. The whole thing is very disappointing. But as often been said, the truth is often stranger than fiction. Seldom was popular. So I'll end it now. I'll catch up with you sometime, and I'll put this. Yeah, thanks a lot. And I'll put this on. Well, I'll make this private, and I'll download it, and I'll put it on the dedicated Force Rope channel. And I've got other things to be doing at the weekend.